Okay, guys, hello and welcome to Amateur Radio Roundtable. Today is March 3rd, 2015. This program is live every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time, or 0200 UTC on Wednesdays. The show covers all aspects of ham radio, electronics, Arduino, software-defined radios, and much, much more. We're looking for stories, so if you've got a story that you would like to share on our webcast, please send me an email to tom@w5kuv.com and we'll try to get you on here. Let's see. One of the things that we try to do on every show is to get our viewers to be a part of the show. We want to invite you to join us on the show via video near the end of the show, where we open up what we call Roundtable. You only need a Google Plus account and a camera, and you can join us. We can have up to 10 people at a time join in on the webcast. So at the end of the show, I'll be sending out a link. All you got to do is click on that link, and if you got a camera, you can join us and set it here at the Roundtable with us. Now, if you can't get in, that means we probably have 10 people logged in, so just keep trying. Tonight's show has the following segments. We've got Eric back with us again. Eric's going to talk about. Actually, let me introduce Eric again. The segment's called Tech Talk with Eric, and he has a weekly YouTube and a weekly broadcast on, and his URL is mkme.org. You might want to check that out. But tonight, Eric's going to be talking about copying slow-scan TV images from the International Space Station using an SDR, or the software-defined receiver, the little $10 receiver. And then Arnie's going to be back. N6hc from California is back with us tonight. You know, Arnie's been on most of the big dxpeditions over the past 10 years. Tonight, he's going to show us some of the antennas that they've used on the last 10 years of dxpeditions. After that, we've got a special guest. We've got Franc ZL1SLO from Auckland, New Zealand is going to join us. This guy has operated numerous special worldwide events. It's a one-man event. He does them all by himself. He has special cards for those events made up, and he sends them out. So we're going to look at some of those special events and talk to him. And then we've got our section on vintage radios and old-timers. We've got some neat pictures in there. So it's time for the fun to start here. But first, I've got something new for the program tonight. It seems fitting. There we go. Now, guys, we're going to have some sleet, rain, and ice tomorrow. Okay. The weather service is saying we're going to have 1/2 to 2.5 inches of sleet, 1 to 4 inches of snow, and 1/2 inch of ice tomorrow. And guess what? It's going to be right here. That's where we are. But I want to tell you guys something. You guys way up here where this pink is, you guys are in for it, man. Now, I know a little bit of snow doesn't bother you guys, but this area right here, let me tell you, you better bring the barbecue grills inside because you're not going outside to barbecue, okay? So I just wanted to give you a quick weather report. This is not a segment of the show, but I just wanted to do that. Okay, so let's get this show started here. And let's see what we got going here. Okay. Hello, Eric. How you doing?
Good day, sir.
All right. As I mentioned, Eric has been on our show several times. He's from Canada. He has a weekly webcast and YouTube channel, Tech Talk with Eric, mkme.org. Man, this guy covers everything. He's got so many videos, and we're going to look at one short one tonight on SDR. But if you go to a site, you'll see a bunch of them on SDR and a lot of others. Just too many to name here. So let me roll. First of all, how you doing, Eric?
I'm doing great.
How's the weather up here?
It's actually getting better. We hit nearly the freezing mark for the first time in over a month. So
yeah,
it's been minus 20 and below for over 30 days.
So how much snow do you have out there right now?
On the level, maybe 18, 20 inches-ish. A lot of it melted today when we got close to freezing, and we had to kind of sleet stuff, packed it down.
Yeah. Nice. Well, you know, we're going to get about we may get 1 inch. Oh, man, that's terrible down here. I mean, hey, you think you're going to die down here when you get 1 inch. I don't know how you guys do it up here with that much snow. So, hey, Eric, so just tell us quickly again about all the different videos. I mean, what got you interested in all these, and how do you have time to put all this stuff together?
I make time. I have a pretty busy daytime career, and I learned a while back that I need to make time to play with things and learn new things. Otherwise, it's all work and no play. So I make about an hour every night to do my YouTube videos and do some new projects, SDR, Arduino, electronics. And it's surprising how much you can pack into about an hour late at night when you really try.
Well, I need to take some lessons from you, because that's where we're lacking here is getting the videos together after the live shows, and we really want to work on that. Let's jump into your video real quick here. And this one is about SDR and receiving the slow scan TV signals from the International Space Station. That has been very popular in the past few weeks here. It's been a lot of activity. So here we go. We're going to jump right into it.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm glad you could join me today. In my live broadcast this week, I mentioned that the ISS was going to be sending down slow scan TV images for anyone to receive with a radio and some decoding software. So if you have an SDR or a receiver, you can get these yourself and decode them. Today I was able to actually record the pass on a baseband recording so I could share it with you guys. So the basics of this are, you need a receiving device. I used the software-defined radios. I did a whole video on how to buy these and several other videos on how to use them, so go ahead and check those out. I used SDR Sharp free software, as well as Multi-PSK, which is also free software. You'll see in the video upcoming that I activate the baseband recording, and then I activate Multi-PSK, and it's as simple as that. The process is all automated from there. It takes some time as the ISS goes over. You'll see me correcting for Doppler as we progress through the pass. I'll speed this up so you don't have to watch it real time. No sense in doing that. It's a little slow. But I was able to capture a great image, and it looks like they're alternating images from the ISS multiple times per day right now. Mine was numbered, so I'm assuming that there's a whole series of them, and perhaps in a couple of days from now when the next passes come over, there'll be even more. So I hope you guys enjoy. Please reach out if you have any questions or comments. Good luck with all your software-defined radio, amateur radio, electronics, and other projects.
Okay, Eric, we're back, and that was a neat video there. I've never seen anyone copy SSTV off the International Space Station with an SDR before. So how's the sensitivity on that little radio? I mean, is it as good as copying like with the HT you had the other day when you demoed working a satellite?
Yeah, it works for the comparing it to an HT, I'd say it's better. You can really boost the signal and boost the gain right out of. You can pull stuff right out of the noise floor, basically. But they'll never compare to a proper rig. But you get pretty good mileage out of the price we pay for them.
So there's a question on here: what software, I guess, are you using to make your multi-windowed video and stream? He says, Eric, what software are you using to make your multi-windowed video and stream broadcaster? I'm not sure what he's saying here.
If it's regarding that video, I just use Cam Studio and then to capture it, and then I overlay them in Adobe Premiere Elements when I edit. If it's to do with my live broadcast, I use OBS, Open Broadcaster Studio. I should hit both.
Now, I tried the SDR 4 or 5 years ago, and a friend told me how to set it up. And back then, and again, I don't know the procedure here, but there were several files I think you had to run, maybe in the same file or something, or the same folder, and if you didn't do it, it didn't work. And I had a little trouble there. So are the instructions pretty clear now how to set one up?
Yeah, it's a lot better than it was early on when we had troubles with the drivers and stuff and the software. There's lots of different options. If you're using Linux, the GNU Radio is the preferred, but me using Windows, I use a program called SDR Sharp, and it comes pre-configured essentially. And I did a video on the basic softwares, and it's not even installed on your PC directly. That's the beauty of these softwares. I have them just in Dropbox folders, so it synchronizes across all my PCs. So whatever PC I plug one of these SDRs into, I just open up the receiving program, and all the settings are there. It's a lot easier now.
Okay. Now, you also have a video where you were showing how some people on the internet are ripping you off on prices. The same dongle you can buy for $10 and you can buy for $125. What's going on there?
It's just absolute piracy is all it is. So these dongles were issued as they're TV receivers for European TV, or back in the day for ours, I suppose. When they were hacked and opened up and people figured out how to use them for this other purpose, it's not well known. And a lot of these eBay sellers, and actually this maker that's on here, I shouldn't show them, but they've capitalized on the mass confusion, and marketed, my product will work for SDR, and other people just sell these as TV receivers. Yeah, that's what it is underneath it all, and there's no difference between my product will work for SDR versus a basic $10 TV dongle. So yeah, it's just price gouging, and it upset me, so I did a video on it, which was well received, and I think I've saved a bunch of people a bunch of money.
Yeah, I looked at that, and I was amazed at the big price difference in those things. Now, you've got a number of SDR videos out there. One I thought was pretty neat was your travel kit, where you got this little kit with all the SDR parts in it that you travel with. Oh, there it is right there. Yep. Now, do you actually take that on an airplane? Have you used it on an airplane?
I have.
Okay.
There's a screenshot in one of the videos where the funny story, I forget what airline I was flying. You'd have to check the video, but it was one I don't normally fly. And just to get TV was expensive, and to get the moving map, they wanted, I think it was $7 US to buy the moving map. So I just whipped this out and plotted the ADS-B signal from the plane, and I had my moving map. So I took a couple pictures of it.
So the plane didn't crash, right?
Negative, no.
Yeah, okay, all right. All right, well, there's really been a lot of interest in SDR, and I hope a lot of the new hams try it. It's so cheap to get into, and it's a very wide, broad range spectrum that that receiver will pick up. About how high in frequency will it go?
These ones that I use, I'd have to double check because I usually don't go much above a gig, but I think they're about 1.7-ish gigahertz. Don't quote me on that. The 820 and the E4000 chipsets, which are essentially the same price, have a little different range. But if you have yourself a down converter, or just make yourself a down converter, the sky's the limit. You can go as high as you want.
I'm not sure how much stuff is up there really to listen at above 1 or 2 gigs, but now
there's a few things.
What's the low end? Also, they make an HF converter that you have another video with an HF converter that connects to that, and you can actually receive the lower HF ham bands with it, right?
Yep, this will go right down through all the HF, all the ham bands, and a little bit below. This is my 3D printed case that I made for it. Essentially, they're just an up converter board, and it's really, really basic. It's just an up converter. And that'll get you right down through the HF and below, and works really, really well. But this isn't entirely necessary anymore. You can do a modification to these, and I can't vouch for it because I haven't done it, a direct sampling mode where they're capable of HF with just the dongle. I haven't tried it, though. It's on my list.
Okay, well, what kind of price range is that HF converter?
I think they're around $50, but I'm not sure right now. This is called the Ham It Up converter, all one word. It's the most popular one, but there's a lot of others out there. I'm sure you could probably make this yourself pretty easy. It is just a basic up converter. But
now there's a modification where you change the oscillator out, I think, in that. Is that right? Or not? Maybe I looked at something else.
You could, if you wanted to change the shift frequency, you could change the oscillator to a different, but I don't really know why you would.
Maybe I didn't understand. I looked at some of the videos, and I saw that you were showing the little square oscillator to replace in I don't know if it was that board or a different one, but it had something to do with taking that FM broadcast band out. Was that a different thing you did?
No, I didn't do those. That must have been someone else's. But there's a lot of mods you can do to them to get, like you say, to get rid of other intruding frequencies. And I'm told they work really, really well. I haven't found them necessary. I can listen to HF and decode digital on HF with this up converter, no problem. I consider that good enough for my uses.
All right, let's see what other questions that we have here. Let's see. What's the name of the device you're holding? That was the Ham It Up converter, or what was the name of that?
These are just an RTL SDR. I think some of the chat caught up with it.
Oh,
and then this is the Ham It Up converter.
The Ham It Up converter.
Yeah, don't pay whatever. My only major advice to everyone would be don't pay more than 10 or $15 for one of these. 20 at the absolute max. Don't go over 20 or you're getting ripped off.
Now,
I buy it from 10.
Do most of them come with a little remote control and all that? I guess you don't even need that.
No, the remote control is useless for this application, but I guess my other tip of the day would be you get the ones without remote control. I buy them for $10.50 Canadian when I need new ones, but I get them with the SMA connector and the screw-on steel extendable antenna, and people will balk at this, but these work extremely well, especially for a travel case when I go on business ventures. This works great for any scanner frequency receiving, trunking, trunk tracking. It all works fine on these, especially in a city. That would be what I'd get, is the metal extendable and the SMA connector. Or actually, I guess that's an MCX connector. Sorry, I misspoke.
Well, KJ6SBS has 6 of them, so I guess if we need to order one, we can order from him there.
There you go.
What is the function? Let's see. What is the function of the KJ6SBS dongle in any favorite satellite DYI forums? Maybe he's talking to I think SBS in the chat room there.
Yep.
But there's a lot of information out there on SDR, other videos besides yours, but you've got quite a collection here.
Yeah, it works pretty good. And the only other thing you need, and probably most of the guys here would be already have all this stuff in their junk bin, is a few adapters to go to the standard antenna setups to adapt to any antenna, and you're golden. You can plug into any one or anywhere's antennas, and you're all set, regardless of whether you have your HF or whatever rig with you. If you really needed to just listen, the STR will get you there.
Okay. Any last words there, Eric? We really appreciate you being on the show tonight and talking about SDR.
No, my only last words would be, if you've got anyone that's at all interested in electronics and specifically amateur radio, this is the gateway drug to get somebody into it. Give them one of these, give them the software, and they can get listening to any frequency right away. And they probably will latch onto the amateur radio hobby. It works for me.
All right, there's one last question. Any favorite satellite user forums?
Ooh, no, I don't actually go to any forums for the satellite stuff. Mainly just YouTube and a couple in the satellite status websites. I forget them right offhand. You just if you're interested in amateur radio satellite status in Google will get you. I forget. It's not Heavens Above, but that's about the only things I check on, is to see which ones are still active and what new ones are up there.
All right, Eric, thank you very much for being with us tonight. We're going to go into our next segment. We've got one with Arnie, who's been on here before, N6hc. He's been on many of the dxpeditions, and Arnie's going to talk to us in a minute about the antennas they use. So let me take about a 30-second break here, and we will bring Arnie into the webcast. So let me switch over here to something that's going to give you a little entertainment for a minute.
Hello, this is Valerie
Right,
Hupso, NV9L. You know, there's nothing worse than not being able to go to your favorite ham fest until W5KUB. They have live streaming, interviews, and tons of prizes. Just make sure you're logged into the chat room so you can win.
Greetings from Auckland, New Zealand. I'm Franc ZL1SLO. As part of the international community who watch w5kub.com, I'd like to thank Tom and his crew for a job well done, especially promoting ham radio not just in America, but throughout the world.
Greetings from Albert Lee, Minnesota. I'm Larry, WD0AKX, and I watch W5KUB.com and have been for many years. I would like to thank Tom and his crew for doing all the wonderful work they do to promote ham radio worldwide.
Hi, all out there in Radio Land. This is W0MSE, Mike Crow, from Hiawatha, Kansas, on the W5KUB video streaming from Dayton, Ohio, at the Ham Fest. Have a good day. 73s.
Hi, my name is Wolf. Call sign is Delta Charlie 9, Foxtrot Oscar. And during the winter time, I don't stay in Germany. I like to go to Kenya. But even here, I like to watch the videos of W5KUB. Thanks a lot for them. 73.
Hi, this is Lou, N8KXM, reminding you that Tom, W5KUB, provides excellent live streaming video from the Dayton Hamvention. All you have to do is log in to W5KUB.com, enter the chat room, and you're on. You can watch Hamvention live from the comfort of your home or wherever you might be. So remember, W5KUB.com, and enjoy Hamvention 2014. So 73 from Lou, N8KXM.
You know what? I didn't have the volume up. There, now I've got volume in there. My producer's supposed to be watching the chat room, but I didn't see it. But I noticed that we didn't have any volume. Okay. So this is Arnie N6hc. Arnie's been with us before, and he talked about he gave us a great presentation on a lot of the dxpeditions that he's been on over the last 10 years. And he's out in California right now. So, Arnie, thanks for joining us tonight. And hey, what's your next dxpedition? Where are you going to go?
My next dxpedition is to Chesterfield Island in the Coral Sea, kind of midway between New Caledonia and Queensland, Australia.
Okay.
That'll be in October of this year.
October. And how many days or weeks are you going to be gone?
So total, I'll probably be gone about 3.5 weeks or so.
Wow. And this
we'll
is
be on the air. We'll be on the air from there for about just short of 2 weeks.
Okay. Very good. Well, you're going to show us some pictures tonight. We're going to talk DX antennas. You gave us a great talk on other things behind the scenes on the DXpeditions, but we've got a bunch of pictures lined up here. So I'm going to flip through them, and if I need to move to the next picture, you just tell me, okay?
Will do.
So let's go into the first group here, and I guess this is the K7C, I believe, back in 2005. So here we go. There we go.
Okay, so this was the first dxpedition that I was on, and for HF we used low band vertical antennas, and we used vertically oriented stepper antennas, and I hope that the viewers can see it better than I can. But I know what the picture shows, and those are 3-element steppers that are on fiberglass masts, and they're obviously vertically oriented, and they're right by the salt water, and they performed pretty well. They probably would have performed a little better if they had been up maybe a little bit higher, but they did perform pretty well. And
so
you can also see
you didn't use any horizontal antennas on this event?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. They were all vertically oriented. And you can see we used a Titanics antenna for 160 and 80 meters. And we had a Battle Creek Special vertical that covered 40, 80, and 160. And then for the higher bands, we used the steppers, vertically oriented. And you can see the two operating tents and the antenna field looking north. And as I said, they're right by the salt water, so they work very effectively.
All right. So what is this thing right here? Looks like some type of crab or something.
Yeah, it's a real monster, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the base of the Battle Creek Special vertical antenna, and this antenna is loaned to a lot of dxpeditions by W8UVZ and some of the other guys that are part of his posse, and that's a matching section at the base, and you can see that we're very serious about radials. There's a very good radial system there. And it takes a while to put the antennas like this up and to keep them functional, to keep the radials from uncoiling and so forth. But that's it. So now we're going to move on to another expedition. This is St. Brandon Island, and on this dxpedition we used 4-square antennas. That's 4 verticals that are phased, and they're actually directional. So it's 2-element vertical antenna with a driven element and a parasitic array, and nulls off the sides. And here I am putting up one of the 4 vertical antennas that's part of the 40-meter Foursquare. Next.
Whoa,
And
a bird could not fly through there.
And on this expedition, we used a lot of horizontally oriented antennas. We used beams that were up on 35 to 40 foot metal masts. Not a easy feat to get these masts up without breaking them, and to make sure that they are guyed adequately. But the advantage of using horizontal beams like this is that you can point them all in the same direction. So each antenna is in the null of the of its sister and brother antennas, and all your radiated power theoretically is going in one direction. In this case, when we were on St. Brandon, we oriented all these antennas north. So here's the base of one of the low-band antennas.
Let's try to get a couple questions as I see them here. Gary, AJ4GL, is asking, how is the phasing achieved between the 4 vertical antennas? Do you have that information?
No, but you can go to the ARRL antenna book, and it'll show you how to do this. And basically, it's a matter of invoking which vertical part of the array, which one of the 4 you want to use as a driven element, and the other 3 are parasitic. And you have a switching device in the shack that allows you to choose the direction you want to shoot your signal in.
All right. So here, this looks like another matching unit, maybe.
Yeah. Now this is the base of another 80-160 meter antenna, and you can see now here we don't have any wires, any radio wires. What we're using here is chicken wire, and the chicken wire goes out in 4 different directions, and chicken wire is connected to the ground side of the coaxial feed point, and the hot point and the hot side of the antenna goes up to the vertical segment. And this actually works pretty well, and it's easy to travel with a lot of little chicken wire that you can wrap up and unwrap when you get to the beach, and it was pretty effective. Again, here's the antenna field, and you can see we have both horizontal and some vertical antennas. The guying was extremely important here. I think in this picture you can see that mast is guyed at 4 levels. Yeah. And you might say, well, gosh, that's overkill, but we get some pretty severe winds on these islands, and in fact on this particular island, a couple months before we got there was a typhoon that came through, and it just about denuded the island. Take a look at the background in this picture, for example. You don't see anything that is over 2 or 3 feet in height. So this is the base of one of those horizontal Yagi masts, and the long arm on there is the Armstrong method of rotating the antenna, and it's also oriented so it serves as a pointer as well, so you know which way the antenna is pointing, even in the dark. And the bottom section there shows the lowering and raising device, the fixture there that we use to raise the mast from a horizontal to a vertical position.
One question here, does soil moisture interfere with phasing?
Well, hopefully you're not going to get any moisture into any of the connections, and as long as none of the connections are, contaminated or rusty or wet, then it shouldn't be a problem.
All right, let's go to the next picture here.
So the next picture, this shows this is the one that shows the 4 levels of guying, and not only did we have to guy these things, but we had to use some pretty big stakes in the sand as well. These stakes were about 4 feet in length, and pounded in with a great big sledgehammer, and also a wooden board was placed in the sand between the stake and the mast, so that if the stake started to pull out towards the mast, it would be held in place by the wooden board. And we had to dig big holes to accommodate the wooden board. And so that was 4 holes for each mast, and that was a lot of holes to dig.
Now, I have not personally driven a ground rod or anything into sand. You know, I've hit some pretty hard dirt and stuff. And this pipe here, I guess this anchor, it looks pretty substantial. It looks like it's maybe 1.5 inches or so. It's not like a ground rod.
No, it's substantial.
So do you have any trouble driving into sand that deep? Is it a tough job?
It takes a while to get it in, and normally you're not going to run up against any rocks on this kind of island. This is not a volcanic island, so I don't think we encountered any large rocks where we had to pull the stake out and find a different spot.
Okay, we're going to move on to TX5 here.
Okay, so this is Clipperton, and this shows the antenna field, and here we have, again, a different set of antennas. You'll see some vertical antennas in the background there, and basically what they are horizontal dipoles, 2-element horizontal dipoles. One of the vertical segments is the driven element, and the one behind it is the reflector. And they, of course, the spacing is important depending upon which band your dipole is cut for. But you can also see that we have a stepper antenna as well. So we were kind of covering the bases on the low bands. Sometimes vertical propagation is more effective than horizontal, and sometimes horizontal is more effective than vertical. So we had both bases covered here.
So did those supports or rods come out of the sand pretty easy, or are they difficult to take out?
It was a challenge, but you could get them out because, again, you're working with sand, so you can just kind of rock them back and forth, and eventually they'll come out.
You don't leave anything there, right? You guys make sure the place is clean when you leave, right?
Absolutely. So here's the base of another vertical-oriented antenna, and again, you can see the matching segment, matching section there, and you can see all the radials and so forth.
There's a lot of radials there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, let me ask you:
the antenna will not work without it.
Do you guys do you guys cut radials for different bands, or do you just put a bunch of long ones out?
These radials are cut for 80 and 160 on this particular antenna.
Okay.
So here's one of these vertically oriented 2-element dipoles. And you can see that, first of all, they're pretty easy to put up because they're fiberglass bases, so they're lightweight. The active part of the antenna is aluminum, cut for whichever band it is, either 20 meters, and then we had 20-meter CW vertical dipoles and 20-meter sideband vertical dipoles. They're separated. You can see that the feed point in between the two, the feed line in between the two vertical sections, and the feed line has to come off perpendicular so that you don't mess up the radiation pattern.
Okay, that's this picture here, I think.
Right, that's correct. And in the previous picture, you could see the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And here's another picture where you can see the 2 elements, and they work very, very well as long as you can get them very close to the water, within a wavelength of the operating frequency. They will work very, very, very well with a low angle of radiation. In fact, we ran some tests, and they work much better than the horizontally oriented antennas. Salt water is wonderful. I don't know if there's any questions about the 2-element vertical dipole arrays. And one of the things, again, it shoots a signal in essentially one direction, but it's a wide beam width. These vertical dipole arrays will have a beam width of about 150 to 170 degrees. So we point them all north, and they're all radiating north, and a little bit to the east and a little bit to the west. Now, you might say, well, what happens if you want to shoot south instead of north? Well, there's a jumper on the reflector, and you take that jumper off, and now instead of having a reflector, you have a director.
Yeah, you just change
now
the phasing.
now you're shooting your signal south.
Facing to the other direction. Yep.
Correct.
All right. What's this blue thing here? Is that your shelter?
That was our operating tent. Unless you're referring to the blue gray sky.
No, I'm looking at that blue tent. Looks like to me that could blow away pretty easy if you got some wind there.
Yeah, well, they almost did. They were tents that were picked up from at an Army Navy store from World War I vintage, and we burned them before we left.
Oh man!
We didn't bring them back with us.
Yeah.
But you can see there's a lot of antennas up. Okay, so we're going to move on now. This is Canton Island, and again we used verticals for the low frequencies with lots of radials, and we used vertical dipole arrays for the higher frequencies. And this was the sideband section of the setup, and the next picture shows the CW section. We had the stations in that little building off to the left, and we oriented all our antennas pointing north. Now here's the problem with this one. These antennas didn't work that well on this expedition because we're pointing north, and we're well inland. We're not in the as close to the surf as we'd like to. So the antennas worked, but I think they would have worked better if we could have been right on the beach.
Well, I tell you, you guys put up a lot more antennas than I thought. There's a lot of antenna work and guy wires and stuff that I've seen there. How long does it take you guys to set a dxpedition up? From the radios and the antennas.
Well, usually we'll have a team that has to do the radio work and the networking work and computer work. And then we have another team that will do the antennas.
Okay, very good. Let's go to T32 here. Here's some pictures of T32.
Okay, I'm hearing some Spanish in the background.
I am too. Where in the world? Let me see something.
I wonder if that's one of the ads. Okay.
Yeah, I bet it was. I bet it was.
Okay, so here we are on T32, and this is Christmas Island, and one of the antennas we put up there was an EME antenna, Earth, Moon, Earth, for 6 meters. And you can see that it's kind of pointed at an angle because it's pointed towards the rising moon. And it's got a pretty long boom. And we tried to make some EME contacts, and I think we made a few on 6 meters.
I think that if you'll turn your volume down just a little, we probably won't hear that, and maybe you can still hear me talk to you. Okay, there you go. I think that was a commercial that came on your end.
Yeah, it was a commercial.
So here we go. More at the T32.
Right. So here was a different kind of antenna setup. All of our antennas, if you'll remember my segment from 2 weeks ago, we talked about the T32 expedition and the fact that the equipment never made it to Christmas Island that we shipped out of Southampton. So we had to carry everything in, and one of the things we had to do was decide, well, what kind of antennas are we going to use? Because we were planning on using the same kind of antennas we had on St. Brandon with the masts and the five element beams and so forth. Well, we couldn't do that, so So in this expedition, we bought a lot of wire in Honolulu, and we got a lot of fiberglass poles, and we set these fiberglass poles up and made vertical dipole arrays and vertical dipoles with lots of radials. And on that previous picture, at the base of this particular vertical dipole, you can see this is an inductor that we made for the 160 meter antenna, and you can see how we kept it up. We used not only guides, but we put stakes at the base, and we tried to pile rocks around it so that it wouldn't move too much.
Yeah.
So you can move on from there, and the next picture will show. This is the 80 meter antenna, and you see two stakes on the right there, with the fiberglass pole on the far left. And what we fashioned there was we cut the antenna for single sideband, and for CW. And so if you're going to use that antenna for CW, then you hook up to where the coax was shown in that picture. And then if you're going to go to sideband, you hook up to the other connector where the inductor was. And so now you had a resonant antenna on sideband. So we kind of made things work on that expedition. Here's Bonava, and again we use vertical dipole arrays here, and unfortunately we weren't very close to the water, so they didn't work very well. But again, they work. Here we are putting up a 160 meter vertical mast, and we're using the falling Derrick type of maneuver to get that mast up. And with this maneuver, you only need a couple people to be able to put up a very big mast. And that's what we did here. We made an inverted L, fed it at the base, and then had a arm that went out. Here's the vertical dipole arrays again on Bonava. And again, you can see the typical setup. That one looks like it was probably a 20 meter one. The dipole arrays are separated by about 4.5–5 feet. And the feed point at the middle there and running off perpendicularly. Easy to put up.
I'm looking at the shelter back here. It looks like you guys copied our shelter that we used to use in Dayton out in the flea market.
Yeah, that shelter was a dugout. That was a soccer field, and that was the dugout for the soccer field. And we put tarps over it and kind of enclosed it so we would be protected from the winds and the rain, and it worked pretty well. And of course, we had to keep the tarps down on the dugout with lots of rocks. We put a lot of rocks on top of that dugout.
Yeah, let's jump down to this is going to be Midway, I think, right here.
Okay. And again, here's another example of the Battle Creek special with lots of radios, a matching unit at the base. Next. And a similar antenna field. We had CW antennas and we had sideband antennas. And so two antenna teams. And they were facing the lagoon. And again, oriented towards the south in this case.
All right, let's jump into Amsterdam Island. That hadn't been too long ago.
Right. So here we are putting up a 160 meter antenna, and this consisted of 6 10-foot sections of tower, followed by a 30-foot section of fiberglass, and we had 4 top-loaded wires on it. Excuse me. And at the base, on the next picture, or one of the pictures to follow, you'll see the matching unit, and that's the fiberglass with the 4 top loading. And then for the higher frequencies, we had 2 and 3 section 10-foot sections to put our beams on. And you can see we're we're not within a wavelength of the water there, so that's why we use beams on this trip rather than vertical dipoles on the beach. And again, very serious about radial system, and that vertical is mounted to a stake that was very similar to what we used as stakes for masts on St. Brandon. So it's multi-purpose. You can use it as a stake to stake masts off, and you can use it to mount your verticals on. And this is how we brought all the coax into the operating station. So you had a coaxial connector for each band, 10 meters through 160. And here's another antenna field on St. Brandon. This was the upper site. We had a lower site and an upper site. One was 65 feet above sea level, and the other one was this one, which was 650 feet above sea level on the edge of a caldera. And no, these antennas weren't there when we got there. We had to erect every single one of them. And this is how we erected the ones at the lower site. We used the cement stakes that were already in place that had been used for a fence previously, and we lashed them on. Here's the matching section for the 160-meter vertical, and you can see the tower is isolated from ground by using PVC caps that we packed our antennas in. So the tower is isolated from ground, and you have a matching network and lots of radials.
So there's a question about when you leave, do you leave anything?
No. We bring everything back with us.
All right.
Unless say it,
if you leave
say it at Amsterdam, if let's say they asked, could you leave us some coax? We need some coax. We'd be happy to do something like that. So here is what happens when you don't stake out an antenna properly, and a stake comes out. And this was an 80-meter vertical, and you can see it has a nice bend in it, and we could not straighten that bend out, and we lost our 80-meter antenna here.
Yeah, that's man, that's quite a bend. Now, did that damage that antenna? Is that aluminum or is it fiberglass? That's aluminum.
Yeah, that's aluminum.
So that antenna did not straighten back out too much, did it?
That's correct. That's correct.
Did you guys operate it like that?
No.
Okay. That one went in the trash.
That bit the dust.
Oh, man.
Now here's the 160 antenna that we used on Swains, and you can see how close it is to the water. Well, that's really good if you're going to have a really good low angle of radiation and a fantastic signal on 160. The problem is you got a matching unit at the base, and if you don't have a way of waterproofing that, you're going to lose your matching system, and that's exactly what happened here. We lost the matching system. But again, here it gives you an idea. Here's an antenna field right along the beach, and you can see it's pretty intense. Now, here's one of the verticals. We couldn't get it to stay straight. The beach just wouldn't hold the stake very well. So we used one of our pallets to stabilize the stake, and that worked very well. AB9SY
has a question. Do you have to get permits to operate on the island?
Absolutely. Everywhere you go, you have to get permission, and you also have to send that documentation to the ARRL, or else they will not bless your operation, and it won't count for DXCC.
Wow. Now, here's some more of your antennas on the beach.
Yeah, this is on Swains, and again, a pretty intense antenna field.
All right, man, I tell you, you've covered a lot of antennas at a lot of dxpeditions over the past 10 years, and there's a lot of work to put those antennas up. I didn't realize there's so much work here.
Now, one antenna that I haven't used on an expedition, but I believe we will be using on Chesterfield, is a spider beam or a hex beam, which is obviously a horizontally oriented antenna. It's very lightweight, and it's basically a two-element beam. It's almost like a two-element Moxon, and so that'll be a new experience for me, and I'll document that as well as I can too, so that I can add that to this type of presentation. So there's a lot of different kinds of antennas that you can use. The important thing is you want one that's going to give you a low angle of radiation, especially when you're off in distant parts of the world, and it has to travel well. You don't want to take heavy antennas with you because they're too hard to put up.
So WB0EOD asked, what's the rental cost of a phased antenna array? Did you guys rent anything?
No, I think most of these antennas are either loaned by manufacturers. Tim Duffy at DX Engineering has been very, very generous in loaning antenna in Force 12, which I believe is now part of DX Engineering, has been very, very generous, and you can purchase the entire kit for Foursquares for almost any band you want, or you can make one on your own. Just go to the ARRL antenna book. It's described in there and tells you exactly how to do it.
Now, Tim Duffy with DX Engineering, he's going to be with us on our show next week, so I'm sure he can probably talk a little about this. What power levels do you guys use is a question.
Well, for 160 and 80, 40 and 30 meters, we like to run full legal limit, so we're trying to run 1,000 to 1,500 watts. For 10 through 20, you can get away with a 500 or 600 watt amplifier, and so if you're having considerations of weight, shipping weight, or carrying stuff in on an airplane, you can use lighter weight amplifiers. Some expeditions have actually sold themselves as dxpedition light operations, and they've run just 100 watts. But it's a lot harder to do that than run a 1,500 watts.
Well, I know some of these dxpeditions might cost $400,000, $500,000. Is that right?
Correct.
So the question is, do you guys have any sponsors, or is it all out of pocket?
Oh, no. We couldn't do this without our sponsors. And I've already mentioned one, but we have sponsors that are corporate sponsors. We have sponsors like the Northern California DX Foundation, a very, very generous organization. Indexa is another foundation that helps sponsor us. And then a lot of the radio clubs, for example, the German DX Foundation, the GM DX Foundation, Chiltern DX Group, Clipperton DX Group. These are big DX clubs around the world. Will also give us grants. ARRL has also given grants through what's called the Colvin Award, COLVIN, Colvin Award. So there's a lot of different sources, but in general, about half of the expedition is paid for by the team members, and the other half is paid for by sponsors, and also some of the funds that come in when people request QSL cards.
So here's a question. Can anybody go with you guys on these dxpeditions?
No. These dxpeditions are scheduled a year or even 2 or 3 years in advance. The teams are chosen well in advance, and that doesn't mean that anybody can't go, but you do have to be recruited for the team. You just can't say, I'm going to hitch my star to your wagon and go along with you.
How often do you get a QRP QSO?
It happens. Usually on the type of expeditions that I go on, they're relatively rare places, and the pile-ups are hip deep and never stop, no matter how long you're at the expedition site. When you're ready to close down, they're still high, wide. The pile-ups are still high, wide, and handsome. But occasionally we'll ask for QRP stations only. Unfortunately, everybody has their own definition of what is a QRP signal.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, we've covered a lot of questions, and you covered a lot of the antenna farms on the dxpeditions. Any last comments, Arnie? And, hey, we want to welcome you back, man. This is some good stuff, and I don't know if you've got more material to pull together for some future shows coming up here. We'd love to have you.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure to be part of the webcast. You do a great job, and I'll think of something else that I think might have a broad interest, and we'll come back and visit you again. Thank you for the invitation.
Okay, well, thank you very much for being with us, and we're going to move right along to our next guest from New Zealand. So thanks, and 73 to you.
73s.
Bye. And I hit a wrong button, and I closed my remote connection. So it's opening back up. Here we go.
Hello,
right.
Tom.
Hello. Just stand by 1 second there. You're looking good there, Frank. Okay. Very good, guys. Man, things are working tonight. Hey, our next guest is Franc ZL1SLO from Auckland, New Zealand. Now, I met Frank recently. He's got a very interesting story. He is a one-man special event station. Some of you may have worked some of his events, but he has special events in New Zealand and very nice QSL cards that he issues to people that work him. So I'm gonna bring Frank in now. Frank, how you doing there?
Very good, Tom, and nice to see your program the first time. Everybody, hello from New Zealand. It's about 26 degrees Celsius here, very warm, nice and warm weather here in Auckland, and slightly overcast. But lovely to see everybody on your band, on your TV, and live. It's just amazing, and I'm really happy that you let us in and to say hello to you, everybody. Hey, Tom, over.
Well, hey, great story, and it's just amazing how technology works with us to bring someone like you in from all the way down on the bottom side of the earth. You guys are practically standing upside down here on the earth. I don't know how you stick to it, but you guys do good down here, and your radio signals get out good too. So, hey, we're going to talk about some of the special events and things that you do down there. Now, here's your QSL card right here. That's a really nice-looking QSL card. Can you tell us anything about the card? Is that a local native on the card there?
That's actually my own QSL card, Tom. My own one. I used to have a different one, and the guy in Spain, my QSL manager, he actually made up a nice card for me. That's actually Mary, New Zealand, Mary, who actually is blowing a horn where every time they have some sort of stuff going on, and Marys, and that every time something happens in New Zealand, they do that sort of stuff, Tom.
Wow, I didn't know that. But of course, I'm going to learn a lot about New Zealand here. Let's look at some of these events that you do. Here's one here. It looks like a lighthouse. tell me about this event. Now, you put this on all by yourself. It's a single operator, and you work stations. You make the cards up, and you send them out. Tell us about this event.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. I actually I started that Lighthouse 2012. Then if you can see on the bottom, I changed it to 2013. I noticed that in New Zealand, you do have people doing lighthouses, but not very keen at all. And what I did did this lighthouse here, what's actually in Auckland Harbour. In Auckland Harbour, we are not far, and it's a Bean Rock lighthouse. And what I did, I parked up on the side of the road, and I put my antenna up for 40 and 80 meters, and I worked the world. I was really pleased with that. Then after that, 2013, I done that. 2014, I did with a friend of mine that. But it's I print my own cards, and every contact I have, Tom, I send to anybody around the world. I always promise to send cards to everybody, Tom.
Well, I'm going to have to start looking and working some of these special events. Now, here's another one here. This is Waitangi. Can you see that? It's Waitangi, I think. Let me.
Waitangi.
Yeah. There you go. I'll put the camera there.
Yeah. That's actually Tom. That's actually Waitangi.
Waitangi.
QSL card. Waitangi it's called. Waitangi QSL card. It's actually when Captain Cook, or first white person, arrived to New Zealand up north of Auckland City, probably around about 150 kilometers, 50 k's up north. And that's the place where first New Zealander, white person arrived, like Captain Cook. And that's where actually was signed a treaty of Waitangi, what actually for 100 years. And that from Queen and Mary's. And when it's that done, then after 100 years, a Queen of England or so is supposed to give some sort of land back to Mary's. But that's actually, it's called Waitangi. I made up the cards myself, printed out and all that, and it's going to everybody, whoever worked me.
So this is a treaty that New Zealand had with Captain Cook.
Yeah.
Was that like a peace treaty or something? Did this guy come and steal from you, or what was the deal? He was a pirate, right?
No. Nobody was pirate. You know how years ago Captain Cook used to travel everywhere around the world, and he come to Australia, he come to New Zealand, he come to Hawaii, and all that stuff. And that's what's happened then. And for what they did, they actually gave Mary's guns, exchanged it for clothing and all that stuff. Anyway, but it's a big history about it. You can go to Waitangi, New Zealand thing on Google, and you can read about it. Really, really lovely history to read about it.
Yeah. There's a question in the chat room on how much power do you run when you operate these special events?
Well, I do have here, right next to me. It's actually Fox Tango 857 Delta. Fox Tango 857 Delta, 100 watts and homebrew quarter-wave vertical. Vertical, what I use, it's actually like the guy said before on your show. It's a dipole vertical. 4 meters off the ground, and that's what I'm using. Only one element.
Okay, great. All right, let's jump to this one now. This one right here is really getting my interest. When you want to go maritime mobile, you go maritime mobile. Now, explain this to us.
Okay. I'm sure a lot of listeners on the side, you're gonna have a good laugh. I worked 860, 870 contacts, all on my own. I started on Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday morning. Actually, I was picked up from there. A friend of mine owns 2 barges and two boats, tugboats, and things like that. He called me one day and he told me, Frank, come on, and we're gonna go on a barge. You can do a bit of a DXing. I was only having a joke with him, Tom, but end up to be real. I do have film about it, and if anybody wants to see it, it's actually a film about how we lift up my van, Toyota van, we lift it up on a barge and all that stuff, and how we lift it up back when I'm finished. But it's just amazing. I took all films all myself. When I come home, usually I put them together, Tom. And I enjoy it. I enjoy doing a lot of stuff. I notice the ham radio in New Zealand, it's actually dying thing, you know, and it's just not good at all. And what I do, I just try to promote ham radio in Auckland here. I'm trying to promote it through the school or the people, scouts and that, but there's just nobody to help me out. And I just decide to do on my own. And nobody comes there to help me out, Tom, with anything what I do. And I just do everything myself, Tom.
Well, that's great. Now, one person asking about any photos of your setup. I think if they go to qrz.com and put your call in, ZL1SLO, they'll see a lot of pictures, even some video links, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of video links there too, Tom. A lot of video links. I do have videos when I was traveling. Yeah.
Well, let's jump down to this next special event here. This is a cool one. This is Poppy Day.
Okay.
Tell us about Poppy Day or the Poppy event.
Okay, Poppy Day is 100 years of World War One, First World War. So for people who were fighting during the war and who are still fighting, against different things, and that's what's happening through the wars around the world, Second World War, and still now. And this is for people who in New Zealand we call it Poppy Day. In England and yourself, I think, and Australia. And I asked a question here through New Zealand on a national link. Does anybody does anything? Nobody does anything. Then I thought, I'll ask NZART, New Zealand Amateur Radio Association, if I can have a call sign. They told me yes, and I did a Poppy Day. And I still do have some emails coming through. I'm going to do it again, and they love the way everything's gone and that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, Tom, at the end of the day, I lost my voice, and I really, really had to give up. There's just nobody to help me out.
Well, I would imagine so. Being a single one operator that does these events all by yourself, you're going to get pretty tired of talking. Again, I was going to have a picture of your antennas, but I did not get that in here. Again, on qrz.com, people that look your page up, they will see your home and your antennas. I think you have some vertical antennas and also a magnetic loop antenna that you use.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I think here's another event. This is Valentine's Day. You do a special event for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So that's ZL1 Happy Valentine's Day, HVD. You really picked some good phonetics to go with them. Tell us about Valentine's.
Okay.
How did you get started doing this one?
I thought, well, it's something it's good to, they reckon it's love only between two people or a person like myself or my wife and that sort of stuff. But what I did actually, Tom, I just thought I'd find out what I can do. And I did the HVD. HVD, nobody had it in New Zealand. Then I thought I'd make a Valentine's Day out of it all around the world to make a piece out of it there, Tom. This is the camera. Somebody asked the camera what I'm using. This is the camera.
Let me get you on here. Hang on.
Yeah, see, this is the camera, Tom. Only a very small camera, Sony.
Okay.
And I take pictures, little films, and when I finish, I come home and put it together, Tom.
Okay, well, let's see if there's any more questions for you. It's been really interesting tonight. Does anyone have any more questions for Franc ZL1SLO down in Auckland, New Zealand? And we really appreciate you being on here with us tonight, Frank, and we'll try to invite you back again. I know it's about, well, maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon here, so it's not too bad, right?
Yeah, it's 20 past 4. 20 past 4 in the afternoon, Tom.
Okay.
Exactly 20 past 4, Wednesday afternoon. And I want to thank you, and I want to thank you all the listeners and people who's watching these videos. If you need any questions, I do have an email address on qrz.com. I can send you some films, Marathon Mobile, or anything you like. And I do have some films. What I did a travel around Europe. I took a lot of films from Slovenia, Bosnia, Croatia, Serbia, and that sort of stuff. Our original come from Slovenia. I was born there, but I'm in New Zealand 45 years. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Tom.
Well, thank you very much, and we'll say 73 to you. I don't see any more questions. I think we got them as you talked. So thanks a lot, and can they find a list of your special event stations? What's the next one you'll be doing? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to do Queen's birthday. What's in May or somewhere there. But something else. If something else comes up, I'll just go and do it. I did a lot of Tom from ZL1SLO. Zulu Lima 1, Zulu Lima Delta. That's actually club station, music point club station. I did it last year and this year just gone. I usually go on the New Year's Eve day and do a lot of contacts.
Okay, well, I'll tell you something. If you will, you're a member of our webcast Facebook group. Next time you do a special event, post it in our Facebook group. We've got 3,000 members in there, and a lot of these people will work you. We'll make more contacts than your voice will allow, I bet. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everybody,
right.
and
Bye-bye.
Good luck from New Zealand.
All right. So that was an interesting conversation we had here with Frank down in Auckland, New Zealand, and maybe we can work him on his next event. He thinks it's going to be Queen's Day. And we'll post it in the W5KUB chat room or Facebook room. So, hey, I'd like to ask everyone to please join our Facebook group. There's a link below the chat room that says Facebook. Click on that link. Please join our Facebook group, and that will keep you updated on all of our webcasts and different things going on, and it will. And it's also just a ham radio discussion, too. Okay, we've got one other quick person I'm going to bring in. This was not scheduled tonight, but we're going to bring Glenn Popel in just for a minute. He's not going to present tonight, but Glenn has something. We're going to show you what we'll have on the show next week. All right. Hello, Glenn. How you doing?
Hey, Tom. How's it going?
Going fine. So let me get your video on the webcast here. There we go. Now we got you on. What are we looking at?
That is a rebuilt Yaesu G450A rotor controller. That's based on the Arduino. And you ran a little bit long. We talked about that earlier. We're going to talk about that here tonight. Let me shut my audio down here. And basically, what this is a Yaesu controller, and that analog board in those Yaesu controllers is notorious for going bad. And so I just completely rebuilt the board, and it's got a little itty-bitty Arduino Nano to drive it. And so I've got that, and let me set up some screens here for you so you can see this. All right, this is the fun part. Got to get the right tools and whatnot. Here, I got to switch the video. I'm not as good at you as this. Let's see. I'll get in here in a minute. There we go. I want to share the screen. And I don't have, there we go. Okay, this is Ham Radio Deluxe. And we've got the PC over there attached to it. And you can see that we've got the reading of the antenna. And let's go ahead and just point it over to New Zealand. And all we got to do is double click, and you can hear the rotor turning.
I thought that was you getting electrocuted. Hello, Glenn? Glenn, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I thought maybe that was you getting electrocuted there.
No, that was the rotor.
Yeah, okay.
Turning.
All right, hey, Glenn, look, now we don't want to tell too much of this because we're going to have this segment on the show next week.
Right.
But for you guys interested in it, this is one of the Arduino projects, and this is a replacement board that will repair those boards that go bad in those rotors, and automate it too.
Yeah. And so we'll go back here. But that's the little guy right there, and I've also done it for the Yaesu G800, and we won't show that until next week. But in addition to completely rebuilding it, I've got a version that is modified, so you can take a fully functional one, and we just add a little board on the side, and with a little nano, and you modify it to also, so now you can also interface that directly to HRD. So basically, it gives you the nice high computer controlled rotors that they sell, for $700, $800, $900. You can do it for just a couple bucks.
That's a neat deal. All right, well, we're going to talk about that next week. So you get your stuff together, and we'll do it next week. Was there anything else different you wanted to show us tonight?
No, not really. I don't want to get up and turn the camera around so you can see the horrible things I've got going on over here. I do want to say that I just got another article picked up by QST. It'll be in the Field Day issue. What is it, May or June? So that'll be coming out, and it's not Arduino related, strangely enough.
Okay. Well, Glenn, thank you very much, folks. That was Glenn Popel. Your call KW5, right? KW5GP.
That's it.
The author of the ARRL book, Arduino for Ham Radio, and a lot of Arduino projects, and we're gonna have some more of those on here pretty soon. Thanks a lot, Glenn, for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
All right, so let's see where this brings us into our show tonight. We got one more short segment here I'd like to have every night, and I need you guys' help. Please send me any photos of your vintage equipment, any stories about vintage equipment, pictures, stories, and so forth. So I just want to show you a few right here, what I was able to collect this week. So the first picture here, this was submitted by Roger, WA4VEK, and there's a couple Helicopters receivers here. One on the bottom is the S20R Sky Champion. It was made somewhere between 1939 and 1945 and sold for about $49. Roger bought it. He paid $50 for it at an antique store just a few years back. So he's looks like he's trying to collect some vintage gear. Now here's a special picture here tonight, guys. I wonder if anybody recognizes who this is. That's Bill Pasternak, WA6ITF. Bill, you probably know Bill or have heard of him. He is the president and co-founder of Amateur Radio Newsline. And Bill, I got this picture from Bill. This is back about 1960-something. Bill says that this might be the picture of the last days of the great sound of 6-meter full carrier AM. from the 1950 era Gonzit G50. He had two 6L6s modulating a 6146 final amplifier. He said it sounded as close to a broadcast radio station as a ham could get. Also in that picture, that picture was actually made about 1990, actually. And the other person in the picture is Dave Booth, KC6 WFS. And let's move on with another picture here we got. This is from Bob Harrell, AJ5C. This is back when Bob was in the Air Force. This is about 1961, and that's some of the equipment he operated there. Man, I can't even tell you what it is, but you can tell things have changed a lot. And there's a picture of Bob right there. Looks like he's operating a scope or something. He's in an operating position, maybe. Don't know. But anyway, that brings back memories, Bob. I was in the Air Force probably about 10 years after that. Let's go here to the next one. Here's Andrew, KD5PNT sent this. This is an E.F. Johnson Viking 2 with the VFO 122. And many of you guys probably will remember the Matchbox, the 1 kW Matchbox, very popular. The receiver there is a Helicopter's S38B. And he upgraded his station to some Drake gear. And if you look at the large black box here to the right of the picture, that is a homebrew 80-meter CW phone transmitter built in the 1930s. And let's see, we got, here's one here I dug up. This is one of mine. I don't have too many pictures from back then. I look the very same now as I did back then. This is about, this is 40-something years ago. Now guys, many of you operate teletype today, radio teletype. That is a radio teletype machine right there that I have my hands on. We didn't have computers back then, and it was all mechanical. If you look closely, you can see all the mechanical gears and levers on there. That was a model 19 there, I believe. Now, that's when I was in the Air Force, and I was actually a teletype repairman and trained in the Air Force to repair teletype gear. So I was real lucky. When I'd get a teletype machine, I could make it work. So, and then if we come out of that to the next picture, this is probably about 3 or 4 years later after I get out of the Air Force, probably about 1973. This was my home station. If you look to the left there, you'll see a Super Pro 600 in the rack. That receiver right below, the blue receiver right below the SP600 was some military receiver. It would go up to about 1.2 gigs. The black object there on the desk is a 811 amplifier, I believe. Right to the right of it, what looks like a scope, that was a teletype demodulator. That's a homebrew teletype demodulator. And when we tuned the signals in, the scope there would actually make a plus. And you knew you had it tuned in properly. HW100 in the center. And then if you look over to the right of the picture, you'll see a Model 28 KSR teletype machine. So that is the Vintage and the Old Timers page. Would like for you guys to send us in any pictures, any stories about your old time operations. Yeah, and today it's all replaced by an HT. That's right. So it's time now to go into our roundtable. The formal part of our webcast is over, and we're now going to go into what we call a roundtable. This is where we invite every one of you guys in. You'll actually be on the webcast. Your video, your audio is going to be on this webcast if you connect to us. You must have a Google Plus account. If you will click on this link that I'm sending out right now, that link will get you on the show. And we can have up to 10 people at a time Don't get discouraged if you can't get in. Just keep trying, and you'll eventually get there. So I'm going to go ahead and log into the roundtable, and we'll pick it up from there. And we're going to leave the video running here, and everybody will see you. Hopefully, your family out of town is going to see you, and you're going to wave at them. So let me get my my roundtable connection going here. Hopefully, some of you guys are already in it. And while we're doing that, I'm just going to put on a short, I don't know what I'll put on, I will put on the short videos that people have sent in. We'll be right back live.
Hello, this is Valerie Hatzfeld, NV9L. You know, there's nothing worse than not being able to go to your favorite ham fest until W5KUB. They have live streaming, interviews, and tons of prizes. Just make sure you're logged into the chat room so you can win.
Greetings from Auckland, New Zealand. I'm Franc ZL1SLO. As part of the international community who watch w5kub.com, I'd like to thank Tom and his crew for a job well done, especially promoting ham radio not just in America, but throughout the world.
Greetings from Albert Lee, Minnesota. I'm Larry, WD0AKX, and I watch W5KUB.com and have been for many years. I would like to thank Tom and his crew for doing all the wonderful work they do to promote ham radio worldwide.
Hi, all out there in Radio Land. This is W0MSE, Mike Crow, from Hiawatha, Kansas, on the W5KUB video streaming from Dayton, Ohio, at the Ham Fest. Have a good day. 73s.
Hi, my name is Wolf. Call sign is Delta Charlie 9, Foxtrot Oscar. And during the winter time, I don't stay in Germany. I like to go to Kenya. But even here, I like to watch the videos of W5KUB. Thanks a lot for them. 73.
Hi, this is Lou, N8K.
All right, we've got Michael on here. He figured out how to join the group. Let's see. Come on, guys. It needs to be more than just me and Michael. We need to get a group on here. You can't call it a round table. So, Michael, just tell us, tell everybody out there where you're located and everything.
Well, I'm W1 Delta Golf Lima, and I'm in Prescott, Arizona, which is, for those who are not familiar, is about 100 miles north-northwest of Phoenix, at an elevation of about 5,300 feet above sea level. Right now, I'm running an ICOM IC706 Mark II into a quarter-wave vertical, and I've been getting some good signal reports. Not great, but decent. Hopefully, we'll have some more people join us on the roundtable here. I was on our local repeaters roundtable earlier at the beginning of the webcast and told them about it, so maybe there's a few of them that would like to come on as well.
All right. Well, let me see if I can't round up. I need to shake people here.
I'll mute my mic while you're doing that.
All right. Well, I just heard a repeater ID there. So, hey, what's the weather like out there real quick?
Well, right now it's right at freezing, but it got up to like in the low 40s today. The snow kind of lowered, not lowered, but stopped. We had about maybe an inch and a half. And there's Glenn.
Yeah.
It was mostly slush, though.
All right, well, Glenn joined us. I see he made it in there. How you doing, Glenn?
I'm hanging in here. Got the camera turned around.
All right. Well, I'm glad you joined here. I was beginning to get a... You know, it's real simple to get on here with a Google Plus account. Hopefully some more people will join us here in a few minutes. Let's see. Frank down in New Zealand is trying to get on here with us. Let's see what his problem might be here. Glenn, you guys did click on the link I put in the chat room, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so it's the right link. Okay. Well, Glenn, you got your office cleaned up there. Was it for the webcast?
No, like I said, I just finished up that article for QST today, so that file's on the other side of the room. You don't get to see that.
Okay. Hey, we're going to get upwards to 2.5 inches of sleet tomorrow, and up to 4 inches of snow and a ½ inch of ice. So you'll probably get to work from home tomorrow.
Yeah, believe it or not, next week is spring break, and I have vacation planned for that. And with the stuff coming in, Wednesday and Thursday are pretty much shot. So Friday's the only possibility, and that depends on how much melts off. This webcam I'm looking at right here is going to be pointed out the window on my hill with motion detection active, and we're going to get video of every insane person that thinks they're going to make it up my hill during this.
Well, you lost the mailbox last time, right?
Yeah, it's duct taped back together until it warms up enough for me to get out there and do something serious with it. And no sense fixing it if they're going to hit it and take it down again tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's fixing to be fun, but basically for me, with the way I work, I'm able to work out of the house. So it's really going to turn into about a 14-day vacation for me. And when I have 14 days, God only knows what happens in this lab. So.
I sent the link out again to see if anybody would join here. Okay, well, looks like Michael's on there. He may be trying to round up. He's on the phone. It looks like he may be trying to round up somebody, to get them on here. I mean, I would have thought we'd had a few more people. So, Glenn, you get a couple extra points tonight, and Michael, you get a couple extra points.
But, I'm really looking forward because right now I'm kind of in between projects, which means I get to play back on the Arduino a little bit. And, got some things I've got planned.
Well, we need to do another Arduino, just a show just on Arduino, because there's so much to cover there. I think last time we ran out of time and didn't cover everything in your book.
Oh no, I still got a whole box full of things that we can go through. What I was thinking we'd do, rather than just long segments, was kind of like what we talked about, which is take one of each project and just kind of totally dissect it step by step, and let you see how it's built and how it's put together and everything, and just spend 5-10 minutes on each individual project, and that way you can have other segments going on the webcast.
Yeah, okay. I noticed we had a ZF1 in the chat room. That's down in Africa somewhere, isn't it? A ZF1. ZF1 we've had.
ZF is Cayman Islands.
Oh, okay, okay.
So, yeah, that's the other thing. I'm hoping to work some JT65 over this nice long break.
Well, I'd love for us to do a segment on JT65. That's one of the things I've got planned. I just need to find someone that wants to come on here and do a little presentation on it.
Well, I can to some degree. I'm definitely not the world's best, but I have done quite a bit with JT65 and JT65 equipment. So I was part of the group that put the JT65 on the Rebel last year, so I can take a go at it.
So there's a question. There's a question in the chat room, Glenn. What is the nature of your home-based biz? You're not really a home-based business, are you?
No, I wish it was home-based. I am a technology consultant, advisor, tech support, anything technical, internet-wise, for the Mississippi Department of Education. I actually work for a company called Cyber, and we have a contract to do this. There's 3 of us in the state. And basically, I work with 52 different school districts, helping them in basically all areas of their network infrastructure and technology. So when the schools are closed, I'm closed.
Okay, well, we had Frank says he's been trying to connect. I don't know what kind of problems we got connecting from New Zealand, but it should work.
Yeah, it should. I mean, it's just clicking on the link.
All right. Well, this is the part of the show where anybody wants to go out there. There's Dan. Dan, join us there. Dan, you're gonna. Let me see here. Let me get back to the feed here. There we go. Hello, Dan. Thank you for coming. Those 100 demerits you've got, I'm gonna take 25 off because you made it here.
Oh, it might be a little late, but better late than never, right?
All right. Well, hey, I noticed. Was your hangout early tonight?
Yeah, we're going to start doing it a little bit earlier. 7 o'clock. I don't usually get in until about 9, 10 o'clock, anyways. So I thought that was set up more for the Eastern time zone because it's 10 o'clock there when it starts. So it's decided to push it up to 7 o'clock, and nothing says that I have to be there when it starts, and sometimes I'm not even there. So.
Well, what you guys need to do is have yours start at 7 o'clock, and then about 8:30, 9 o'clock, when everybody starts getting tired of that, you need to switch over to this one on Tuesdays.
Yeah, we'll do something like that. Well, right now Bruce is actually simulcasting your webcast into the Hangout. So.
Oh yes. Hey, I don't know if I authorized it. I'm gonna have to get on Bruce. Bruce, if you're listening. Bruce, if you're listening.
That's Creative Commons license, right?
If you're listening, Bruce, I want every one of you guys. I don't know how many's on the Hangout, but I want every one of you guys to come over to this Hangout. You copy the link out of the room there. And I want to see everybody here. And Bruce, if you can get 3 more people in the Hangout, I will erase all demerits that you've got. Okay. All right. Let's see if he's listening.
Yeah, I'm sure he's chuckling now.
So Dan, you're up in Wisconsin, man. How's are you guys getting any bad new winter storms coming in?
I got a little bit of dusting the other day, not too bad. For Wisconsin standards, let's just put it that way. I will preface it by saying Wisconsin standards.
Yeah. Well, you guys have feet of snow all the time. See, we got a new, hey, look at there. Hey, Bruce is working on it. Mark came in. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Glad you could show up here. I guess Bruce brought you over, right? He's kind of worked his demerits off.
Well, I didn't want him to get into any trouble, so I figured, I better get over here before you give him all those demerit points. I don't know what that does to him. Maybe he can't drive then. Is that the idea?
Well, I'm not sure, but Russell came in. I guess that's another one that I said if he got 3 people to come over, we would erase all demerits. So I think he's gonna. Hey, if he just came in himself, he would, he'd meet the goal. Tell everybody out there where you are, Mark.
I am 60 miles north of London, Ontario, if you know where that is. I'm 2 hours driving, actually, west of Toronto. So Right out in the middle of nowhere.
All right. Well, hey, when you say 2 hours, is that with or without snow?
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. 3 hours this time of the year.
3, yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we had a good show. We had a good show tonight. We had Arnie gave a nice presentation on the past 10 years of dxpeditions that he's been on, and we showed a lot of the antennas and things there, and then we had Franc on from New Zealand. Franc is a one-man special events person down there. He puts on these special expeditions. One man, he has cards made up for it and sends them out, and he has some nice cards he sent out.
Yeah, we were watching the that segment there on the dxpedition while we were hanging out on the other hangout.
So you guys stay on pretty late on that hangout, don't you? I mean, I've caught you guys on.
Not too bad. A few years back when we first started, it wasn't uncommon to stay up until about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
And you go to work?
Now we're getting out of there about 1 a.m. So.
And that's to go to work the next day?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, I couldn't do it.
2 hours sleep. We look and feel our best the next morning, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We need our education prior to our work, right? So we have to get it at the hangout.
Yeah.
We don't stay at the Holiday Inn, so we can't get any education there. So I don't know if you guys have that commercial down there.
Yeah, I'm not a brain surgeon, but I slept at the Holiday Inn last night.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to give Bruce one more minute. He didn't make his goal.
Bruce, here I got him on the radio too. Hang on a sec.
Oh, you got him on DMR?
D-Star.
Oh, D-Star.
What was his call again?
KC2.
DR549.
KC2YEJ. KC2YEJ.
KC2YEJ. EA3EMT, we're waiting for you on the hangout here. Come on over. Bruce, VA3EMT.
Now, this is really showing ham radio. We had a live ham radio webcast. We're bringing you in from Canada on Hangout. You're calling him in New York on DMR. I mean, we're really mixing a lot of stuff here.
And I just threw the link for the nightly hangout up.
Okay.
Put that in the chat. Chat on Google Plus. Actually, I could put it in the chat over in your side.
Hey, wait a minute! I see Terrence on. That might be the three. That may be three. Terrence, did you come from the other room?
I used Hangout. That's all I know.
Oh, you weren't on Dan's room earlier.
Oh yeah, he was on Dan's room. Yes.
Well, he's saying no. I don't know who to believe here, man. I kind of believe he wasn't. Okay. I can tell when you guys from Canada lie, you know. Well, welcome, Terrence. Terrence, did you see any of the webcast?
I can see you. Is that what I need to see?
No, I said, did you see any of the earlier webcasts that we did, or did you just join us?
I saw some of the earlier webcasts. First, I got my password going.
Okay.
And then watched. So I thought I'd try the Hangout since I did it with my brother a couple of times.
Okay. Cool. Oh, man, look at there. Look who came in there. Brucey. Cousin Brucey's down there. Hey, how you doing, Cousin Brucey?
I didn't want to get no more demerits.
Well, I think Now, let me verify. Russell, are you on here, Russell? Russell, I know Mark came in. I said 3. Glenn, you count as 2 now. But Russell's not. He's not talking, man. I don't even know if he's a real person.
I came in.
Oh, okay. All right. All demerits are cleared.
All right. All right. Let's everybody go now.
All right.
We'll catch you all later.
Yeah, he's going to kill us.
Yeah.
You gotta do a double, a triple, and whatnot.
And I just put a link in your chat for the Ham Radio Hangout community.
Yeah, I see it. Okay. Yeah. Well, you know, this is not a.
There's Tracy. Tracy was in the other hangout for sure. Now he's gonna get points.
Yeah, we're gonna keep eventually losing viewers on our webcast. Either all of them are coming over here to join us on Hangout, or are they just going away right now? So. But hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I see 9 people on here now. This is the most that we've had after one of our webcasts.
Hi, Tracy.
How you doing, Bruce?
Tracy followed us.
Oh,
so
yeah.
No demerits for any of us.
I'll wipe the slate clean tonight, but I'm pretty tough. Tomorrow night I can issue them back.
Oh, man.
Wait, you got another webcast tomorrow night?
No, but I'll join the Hangout tomorrow night, and I'll give Bruce some more demerits.
Oh, man. Hey, listen, I watched the whole show.
Did
I had
you?
both windows open.
Okay, let me tell you something. Just because of that, you have credit. I'm going to give you credit for 25 get-out-of-jail demerits. So, like tomorrow night, if I should give you 50 demerits, you won't have but 25, okay?
Yeah. No, man.
Let's see. Wait a sec. That doesn't add up.
I know. Yeah. Don't tell him. He's from the South. Leave him alone.
Common Core math.
That's that South math, you know.
Yeah.
I guess most people probably on our webcast know that this is the round table portion, very informal. No real presentations here, so you know, I guess they're either deciding to watch or leave right now.
Most likely leave.
But
the Canadians.
you're on the webcast now, so I'm sure somebody's watching. I know you're being watched down in New Zealand.
Uh-oh, somebody's calling.
Bruce. Uh-oh. He forgot to put his phone on airplane mode.
Oh, what was it? Who
Yeah.
was that? Wayne. Is it Wayne?
Yeah, Wayne's in the other room trying to wonder what the heck's going on.
Hey, where'd you guys go?
I'll jump back over there.
All right.
See you guys over on the other side.
All right, man. Thanks. All right. All right, guys. Well, I tell you what. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to shut the webcast down. And I think we had a successful show tonight. I'll have to go back and look at the recording and see how it was. I think it was okay. So I'm going to say good night to everybody.